All right, welcome to another episode of Flatrater Diagnostics. This time is going to be a little different. We're going to take a look at something I'm working on for my full-time job. So let's take a look. All right, so we have a 2012 Buick Enclave that will run for about 30 minutes and then die. And then the dash starts going crazy and clicking. The throttle body makes a bunch of noise, and you've got to shut it down and let it cool off before it will start all over again. It's got some kind of theft code in it. I forget what the number code was, but anyway, so it's obviously not a code or a theft deterrent problem, but we're going to check this out. It's been running for 30 minutes and it just died, and now the check engine light is flashing Morse code. All right, so when the engine died, not only did I get that clicking and such from all the solenoids, but also the ECM quit communicating with my scan tool. So there's a communications error. So from there, I decided to just quickly hook up the databus diagnostic tool and see what's on the network, what's going on. And this is at pin 6 and 14. And it's interesting here, all of the modules on the network are showing up except for the ECM. So this is looking like, at first glance, like the ECM is just dumping out and it's bad. And just because a module goes bad doesn't mean it's going to affect the network. They can, but in this case I don't think it did. All right, so it was late in the day for me and I needed to move on. But I got it to act up, and that was enough for now. And so I came back the next day, and so now I am doing I have plans to scope some circuits and then duplicate the problem and catch it in the act. But I thought first I better do a pin fit check on the terminals at the ECM, because the one thing you can't scope is the connection between the terminals of the harness and the pins of the ECM. So I did this and all of them felt just fine. All right, so before we condemn the ECM, we need to make sure he has good power, good ground. And so I looked up in the schematics and found that we have 3 ignition feeds, 1 V plus, and 2 grounds. And so we're going to check those with a scope. All right, so this is a mess. This is why I hate using scopes unless I absolutely have to. This is a freaking mess. And now the wind's picking up. And anyway, so this is what we do because we care. Well, or we want to get paid. This is a mess. Yes, I see you guys are freaking out. Oh, he's piercing wires. It's California. It's all right. It'll be okay. You have to drive like 8 hours to get to where it's a problem. So let's go ahead and continue. With the scope hooked up, actually 2 scopes because I'm also using a modus for the ground circuit. But with the scope hooked up, we have 4 wires here. We have B plus and then 3 ignition feeds. And then we're just gonna let this thing run till it dies. And when it dies, we're gonna see what we see. Remember, this ECM needs power and ground to operate, and it needs all the powers and all the grounds. So the grounds are being checked with my modus, and now I'm looking at these feeds here, and any minute now it's gonna die. It's gonna die. There it is. All right, so what just happened is the engine just died, and now I've got something to look at, and it looks like something happened to all of these circuits. Now, when I zoom in later, you're going to see that it's really just one circuit. And so let's stop and go from there. All right, and so this is what I found when I zoomed in. And so this is where I'm going to leave this. I'm going to just dump this right here. This is going to be answered in detail in one of our instructor-led classes. But just want to kind of give you a look at what we do to make these things worthwhile. The ECM on this has been replaced. The BCM has been replaced, and the underhood fuse box has been replaced. And the ground circuits were fine when this problem happened. Remember, the ECM lost communication, the engine died, and you can see which circuit has failed. So I'll leave it right there.